Okay, in Europe, a woman was near. Yeah, I think if I may just summarize what happens over here, it's a case of a man. His wife is suffering from some kind of disease, and then he later on found out that there is this pharmacist or scientist. We use the word druggist over here. So druggist means someone who um, invent or make drugs, but drugs as in medicine, a drug or a medicine that is able potentially to cure the wife, right? So, but this particular druggist or pharmacist wants to charge 10 times what the drug costs him to make. So, uh, he paid for the radium. Radium is the raw material, I would assume, $200 for the radium, but charged $2,000 for a small dose. So the husband said, I do not have the money, I to pay for this. So he could only get about 1,000 ringgit or $1,000. Sorry. So he told the druggist that his wife was dying and asked him to sell it cheaper or let him pay later. But the druggist said, no, I discovered the drug and I'm going to make money from it. So Heinz got desperate, and so the man got desperate and broke into the man's store to steal the drug for his wife. So, was the husband correct or right to do that? So let me see some answers over here. So I think first person over here says that was the right thing to do to save his wife. He had some money but wasn't able. It wasn't enough. Um, so in the student's opinion, the druggist should be more empathetic and just take the money that the man had and ask him to pay the rest later, right? But I think uh, further explained over here, the husband shouldn't have done that. The druggist should have been more considerate, more consider more considerable, and take the man's blood and pay the rest later. Right. Some other opinions over here. I think the husband, it's okay for the husband to do that because it's stealing for a good purpose. Right. So another person over here says the husband just didn't want to lose his wife. Right. This is sad. Yes. Doesn't have a choice. Life is more important than everything. It's wrong, but then you understand why he's doing it. Should spend the item for his wife because don't know. Yeah, I think that's the point I would like you to come to, right? Eugene, I think, has made a point that I think all of us need to reflect upon. Hey, uh, uh, from a theoretical point of view, right? In this discussion, this is in reference to a theory that we have in psychology called the theory of moral development by Lawrence Kohlberg, a very famous theory. If any one of you would go deeper into studying psychology at some point. This is one theory, or even for your own reading, right? Something nice to actually read more about how this theory was developed and the implication of this theory. Now, uh, many of us, as we can see also based on reflection of the answers that we saw just now, consider that the what Heinz or the husband did was something that is in a way understandable, or some people even say it's actually okay, right? Why? Because he was his priority was trying to save the life of someone else, and in this case happens to be the wife. So that has to be the most important thing. And we would paint the picture also that the druggist or the pharmacist over here is someone who is not considerate, someone who is selfish, someone who is very materialistic. So because of that, he was actually thinking only about getting money, profit from this, and do not consider this in any way to be a situation where he has to empathize or has to be a bit more tolerant when it comes to payment, asking payment from people. On that part, true. I think those things needs to be considered. The husband probably in that hour of desperation did what he was supposed to do because that was the only way. However, beyond theoretical explanation, from a more practical point of view, in relation to social reality, and especially me, if I were to put on my hat as a teacher, and also in a way, also if I were to say this from a point of view as um, a law-abiding citizen, okay? You cannot tolerate something like this. You cannot say that this is something right. That it's okay for the husband to actually go and steal the drug and give it to his wife, regardless of how cruel, what kind of bad, what a bad person or selfish person the druggist or the pharmacist is, because first of all, the law is still the law. The law says that you are wrong if you go out and steal, then you should not be stealing anything. Okay, so as a teacher, as your teacher, and also as a law-abiding citizen, I cannot say this is something right, because it's again, first and foremost, it is against the law. But more importantly, I would like to say this, and this is basically reiterating the point that was mentioned by one of you just now, Eugene. Right. Uh, Stealing the drug over here is an act of attempt to try to save the life of your wife. Uh, so doing that may sound to be something very romantic, something really nice for you to do because you are trying to save your wife's life. However, always understand this. In the context of the medical sciences, regardless of the advancement that we have in medical sciences today, uh, drugs or medicine are not magical antidotes. It's not that if you have this or you take this, then you will definitely be cured. Okay, so it's an effort that you are trying to make. uh, you think it's something that's going to work, but it's not something which is certain. So, of course, I think Eugene brought up also the technical aspect to it in terms of whether the drug has been tested, whether the food department, FDA in America, has tested or not food and drugs. Agency in America has actually tested the medicine or not. But beyond those technicalities, um, one cannot just simply rush on doing something and break the law just because you think it is, especially for something that's not certainly going to save the life of someone, especially when it comes to something like this. Uh, I know it's when it comes to from the point of view of, from a romantic angle and from a Hollywood perspective, this seems to be a very nice storyline. But there are many case example in the world where people cannot afford healthcare or cannot afford to bring their loved ones or their family members to seek the best treatment in hospitals. Uh, you you try, right, sometimes to help, but then sometimes it's just beyond anyone's ability to help, or it's difficult to get any help on that part, in terms of covering the cost. So life in a way is like that. Meaning to say, at times it seems to be unfair because you do have, right, the differences between what you can get when you have, not much resources, and compared to those who have a lot of resources, in this case, money. So, following the law and remaining true to your principles in life is something that needs to be there as well. So, in the argument given by Ron Skolberg, he did actually say that when it comes to the highest level of moral development, which is post-conventional, uh, he actually says it's okay to actually for Heinz or for the husband to steal. Why? Because you are prioritizing life over profit. But that is looking from the point of view of Heinz or the husband only, not from the point of view of the society. How that becomes wrong uh, still is if you were to use the same argument for everything else in life. If you feel, just because you feel that you have been unfairly treated, or you did not get what you deserve, or you feel that there are certain things that are unfair, some people get more, you get less, does that give you the right to go against the law and go ahead and try to change things on your own? So that is not something that we can say to be correct. Even though Lawrence Kohlberg points this from the individual point of view, to be more of a conventional level 2 moral development level, which is not necessarily the highest. The highest one is when you go beyond the law and fight for your rights. But he would explain this even further in his book, and the book is like 1,000 pages or so. He didn't simply say that you can just go and steal the drug for yourself. He says that the way to go against that is still within the law, but what you do is you fight for your rights, stand up for your rights. So in the case of Heinz, right, understandably, he was desperate. He felt that the wife is going to die anytime soon, but he should not just simply take matters in his own hands and go against the law and break into the pharmacy. He should have made other efforts in order to fight for his rights. So now you have social media, for example. You can, you know, talk about or viral the case of this pharmacist, or engage the help and support of human rights groups, um, and other NGOs who can perhaps highlight your case to the authorities. And the authorities hopefully can take action and try to see or arrange for something that can be a win-win situation for both of you, or both Heinz and also the pharmacist. So yes, you have to, at some point, when it comes to facing something which is unjust in a society, you should not be passive and just simply say, I'm okay. Some people get away from breaking the law. I suffer from this. Being passive and not to do anything is not right also. That's very conventional. You just perform your role, very passive. You don't want to create any trouble. You should go beyond that by fighting for your rights. Do something for that. So that brings us to the highest level of moral development, in the sense that you have this strong urge that I want to do something for the betterment of the society, and I would not rest on my laurels and just simply accept things as it is. Just accept conventions as conventions. Right? You should try, if you feel there's something wrong in the society, right? Work through the system, work through the avenues and platforms that you have, and go try to fight those conventions in order to make things right for everyone and not just to you. Because if you were to just simply steal, that is selfish also, because you are stealing and you are going to create trouble to yourself, and you will create a bad example for others as well. Right? They may see this as a right thing, the right thing to do. So anyone else in similar situations would take the same action. Okay.